What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing good. So, y'all, I don't know how about y'all and y'all's breakups when you were younger, but one thing with mine is that I literally felt like I hated my exes. For whatever reason. I feel like I just hated them because our breakups were, not many of them for some reason were not smooth, and it was really nasty, and it could get like really really ugly sometimes. And I used to wonder, like, what the hell is wrong, like why are my breakups and relationships so messy. And these right here were not, I guess, real serious relationships. My marriage and stuff, it was it hurt when it ended, but it was not real nasty. But it's just more of been the little flings and short-term relationships that I was in, especially when I was younger. Those are the ones that ended nasty. And like I said, I feel like I hated my ex-boyfriends so much. I sit and think to myself, why? Why do I feel that way? Well, one of the main reasons that I felt that way was because deep down I hated myself. I did not love myself, so therefore I was bringing people into my life that did not love me either. And that's my own fault. I used to sit and blame my past relationships and blame my ex-boyfriends for this, or they're the reason, why this, that, that's what's wrong with me is because of them. I had a real victim mentality, and I just refused to see it any other way. I refused to see that any of it was, in fact, my fault. I guess, nobody wants to be blamed for anything. So I guess it was subconsciously a way for me, I guess, to kind of feel superior in a sense and to not really feel as bad or feel any sort of guilt or shame, because those emotions suck and nobody wants to feel that. I definitely don't. Even now, I'm more open to it than I used to be. Because I've grown up, I've matured, and but still, it's not fun. But guys, as far as in relationships, and this goes for straight relationships too, it's not uncommon whatsoever to go through a bad relationship or to go through a bad breakup. I don't know many people in my life that have not experienced that. And there are some, I'm sure, that married their high school. My parents, for instance, high school sweethearts, they never separated, never been divorced. It's just been them. They've got along wonderful. Some people have the, privilege of not having to go through that and deal with that, but most of us do. Some breakups, some people have it, very nasty breakups where there's physical violence involved and, infidelity and just these horrible things. Mine involved some of those as well. But, you have to look at it as, it takes two to tango. That's what my dad has always said that. It takes two to tango, which means, you are going to give, when it comes to a relationship, I mean, you are just as much involved as the other person is. So you're gonna, contribute to some of the negativity yourself, because when you're in a relationship with someone, they're gonna see your flaws, and it will bring out the worst side in you at times, along with the best side, hopefully, as well. That's how it was with me. And you can't sit and blame everybody for, your misfortunes. And I was the world's worst about doing that. And I got out of that mindset. I had to get out of that victim mode, because it was getting me nowhere. I was sitting around. I was hateful. I was very bitter. And, I had no purpose. I just felt like the world was out to get me. And, that's absurd, really. I don't, that mindset is just not going to get me anywhere at all. And so, I changed that, and I kind of evolved into a better man, I believe. I like to think that, I'm a lot better of a guy than I used to be. But also, in relationships, y'all, there are some things that, your spouse, your boyfriend, etc., can do that is unexcusable. And there are relationships, whether it be for you or other people, that, let's say your partner did a lot worse than what you ever done. And you're probably sitting thinking, Dylan, how can I be to blame when he was so nasty and awful to me? And I know I had people say, I used to wonder the same thing, because there were some relationships that I was in where I truly felt like I was wonderful. I did nothing wrong. And, they did some really mean, nasty stuff to me. And I used to sit and think, how could I be at fault for any of this? But I look at it as at this way, y'all, is, you're with somebody, and let's say they do you dirty one good time. You really haven't been together that long, or you're not really super official yet. That should be your sign right there. That should be a message from God telling you to get away. And I'm sure, in many of my old relationships, I kept getting red flags. I kept getting hints. I kept getting signals from my gut. You need to run, you need to get out of here. But I didn't listen to myself. I stayed because I was desperate. I stayed because I wanted attention from another man, and I was just thriving off getting it. And mine were never about sex. I never stayed with someone just for sex. I've never really been like that. Mine was just completely for companionship and for like emotional reasons. Because I was very lonely a lot, when I was younger, and I had went through a lot at home. So, being in a relationship kept my mind off of my family life. And so I became one of those people that was like constantly like, I need to be in a relationship. I need to be in a relationship. And I became desperate. So therefore I put up with just about any type of behavior. And that's where, my fault comes into this is it is my fault that I allowed someone to treat me so nasty and so dirty and let them get away with it and let it get to a point to where I broke and to where I retaliated and did something that is unlike me. That is where I was at fault. And, there are a lot of people that are at fault for that. People that I know personally, they talk about how horrible their spouse is, they're mean to them, all this, all that, but yet they continue to stay. And some of them do have children. I understand that. But in my mind, I just feel like it is better for your child to grow up in a broken home where mom and dad don't live together than to grow up with mom and dad living together but having a very toxic relationship, arguing a lot, being very mean and hateful towards each other. I think that would affect a child a lot worse than if their parents did not live together. And I think kids also, I think certain people use their children as an excuse to not have to leave just because they don't want to. They use an excuse as, oh, they do it for the children, but deep down they're too scared to step out on their own. And when you have that mindset and when you go down that behavior pattern like that, you're putting yourself in a situation that is not good for you. That it's going to hurt you. And it's going to mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it's just going to drain the hell out of you. And, I was just so desperate myself that I would just stay in it. I would stay until, I couldn't take it anymore. And, I stayed way too long. You should never stay with someone that long, if, they're really just real nasty, really negative, mean people. Because what it does is just going to traumatize you. It's just going to carry, you're going to carry the resentment, the bitterness, like I did, forth into your new relationships. And it's going to be a shit show. But a lot of that is growing up. I was just a kid myself. I was growing up. I learned, and I'm glad I've learned my lesson now. Because there are people in life and people that I know personally, I'm not going to say any names, that are older than me. I'm 30 and they're in their 40s. But their whole life revolves around desperation, needing a partner, both, gay and straight. They need somebody there all the time, someone to give them attention, someone to romance them, or, be romantic. I don't know. I just know that those people that I'm talking about, they just give off a very, very desperate type vibe. And those same people are the ones that I look back at my life that have always had real messy lives and, really been in and out of relationships with all these people. And, it's because, and a lot of that, boils down to you don't love yourself. And nobody else is going to love you if you can't love yourself. And I used to think that was a load of shit when people would tell me that. I did not like hearing that. I thought that was the dumbest damn thing ever. But, at the end of the day, now that I'm older, they are very, very right. And I'm glad that I learned that. And I'm glad that you know, I kind of learned from those experiences, and I really got myself out of all those situations. But the biggest thing is you know, I've learned to forgive, and I've forgiven everyone for anything and everything. I've forgiven myself, and I've really, I've moved on with my life in a very good way. So guys, thank y'all so much for watching this video. I will be back with y'all in a few days with something else. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.